Welcome everybody to our presentation, how to an in-depth breakdown on Unreal Engine 5.1.0, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest breakthrough in 3D resolution and game designing and more. So what is Unreal Engine and what games use it? So Unreal Engine is one of the world's most powerful real-time 3D creation tools. So games like Arc 2, Arc Age 2, Fortnite, Ashes of Creation, Black Myth Wukong, Dreamhouse, Game of Thrones, Hogwarts, Redfall, Stalker 2, all of them use Unreal Engine. And most AAA game developers use Unreal Engine 5, so that'd be Bethesda, EA, Gearbox, Nintendo, Activision, Epic Games, Ubisoft, and more. So Unreal Engine is also meant to be used by free artists and game developers from having to build up new infrastructure and new frameworks around their game. And it allows them to take their old game data. So if you had a game like old Fortnite, which was made in Unreal Engine 4, the reason why they didn't have to change anything about the game was because it was already made in Unreal Engine. And since Unreal Engine 5 has a large amount of portability, all they had to do was import their old game data and update it to the new engine. And that's what Unreal Engine has. That's why it's so beloved because it has such a high level. Unreal Engine. So why is Unreal Engine so popular? Unreal Engine is so important because it allows a high level of portability between many of the most popular CAD, 3D, and other modeling programs. So Blender and many of your other ones will be able to be ported into, and also Unreal Engine has its own built-in 3D models that you can use yourself. Unreal Engine is actually, in fact, used by 25% of all games that are developed are made by Unreal Engine. So 25% of the games since Unreal Engine first launched, have been made in Unreal Engine, and that is a lot of games. Unreal Engine has a marketplace which allows you to buy, share, and upload not only your creations, but find other people's creation, which vastly speeds up the production of your 3D models, your renders, and more. And don't forget, like earlier I said, Unreal Engine has 3D models already built inside of it. And you're never actually going to need to code because Unreal Engine has this node blueprint style, which means that you're never going to have to use write out a line of code, C++, JavaScript. You're never going to have to do that. All you would have to do is you'd have a node, like let's say you had a bullet from a gun, and you wanted the bullet to collide with a wall and ricochet off the wall. The bullet itself would have a node, and you would enable all the features into it, and then you would connect that node to whatever else you want, so the gun and the wall node, for that node to start working properly. And then you also have the multi-user collaboration, which is in real time, which allows you to use VR collaborations, augmented reality ones, the ones where you can put them on, you can see everything technologically in front of you. You can use that in Unreal Engine. So what does it do, and what features does it have? So Unreal Engine has a Lumen Dynamic Global Illumination Reflection System, the Nanite Virtualized Micropolygon Geometry System, and Virtual Shadow Maps. So the Lumen Dynamic Global Illumination affects the light, how the light looks, how the light acts, how the light moves around. The Nanite Virtualized Micropolygon System is what allows the textures to look so real and so lifelike. With these, you can load high res, insanely high res 2K, 4K textures while also being able to run your game at 60 FPS or more. And the virtual shadow maps, which also affect how, again, the movement, the texture, and how everything affects with the light and how your shadows move and bounce around. And these also help give you, like I said, the feeling of running a high res game on a next gen console or PC like a 4090 or a PS5 or Xbox Series X without you having to actually own one. As well as the programmable rasterizer, which allows you to program specific behavior like leaves blowing in the wind, shrubs moving around, all that stuff. PSO caching is also used for DX12, which simplifies the process needed to prepare a game for DX12 the main way that most of us have seen it, which is a part of part of the GPU. So the on-demand shader compilation compiles only the shaders that you need at that time and what is needed on screen while working on a real editor, which allows you the ability to see your game in its almost finished state and see how well it runs, and see if you need to optimize anything, see how it would go through bug tests. You'd pretty much have an almost completed game without as high res textures, while also making sure that it doesn't bog down on your machine. And then there's also the world partition, which supports the LWC or large world coordinates. So this allows you to enable to create vast worlds like Horizon or Tomb Raider or Minecraft and placing around stuff, but you would never lose it because you already know what the last corners you were. And then there's also LOD, which supports high water rendering and streaming, which allows the user to create large bodies of water in open worlds with better performance and smaller memory footprint, meaning that you're going to have higher res water. The water is going to look like water, it's going to act like water, it's going to move around like water, and it won't leave as much as a memory footprint, and it won't take up as much RAM in your system. So Unreal Engine does that and a lot more. So if you guys want to look further into Unreal Engine, yourself, there's a link to the website, and the link to the website is also linked down in the description. So I'm gonna let my partner Connor take it over from here, and thank you guys so much for watching.
Alright, so now we are in the Unreal browser once you finish launching it. And for the example of this, we're just going to be using this first person template. So when you're in here, you just click games. There's all these other ones: film, videos, architecture, automotive, simulation. But one of the easiest ones just to mess around and get used to the basics is first person. So all you're going to do is you're going to select first person. It's recommended for people that are new to use Blueprint, but if you have experience in C++, you can very well use C++. The target platform would most likely in this case be desktop. If you want to do mobile, you can, but it'd be better just to learn how to do it in the desktop. And the quality preset, you can set it to however, like if your PC can't handle, as well as framings and visuals and stuff like that, you can do scalable. But just to make it easy, I'm going to do maximum. And I'm going to give myself starter content that's going to give me extra things to let me edit and stuff like that. And if you want, you can enable ray tracing if you feel it's necessary. But just for the purpose of this, I will not be using it. Once you've selected your settings and you made your name, you can make it whatever you want. I'll just keep it as my project. Once that's done, just click create. And then it will create the project. It will load up Unreal Engine and the screen will pop up, and as you can see, it's just loading right here. Boxes and all that kind of stuff. But we're just going to get right into it, and I'm just going to show you around about a little bit of the things that there's here. So, first, we have this little kind of game controller with a flag next to it. And this little first-person shooter template, this is called the player start, and essentially it's just where the player in this template starts. There's not much you can really edit about it because there's not really much needed. You can change where it's spotted, up, down, left, right, by using these little scrolls. So if you just hover over one of these and click and drag left or right, it'll go up or down. And see, this red is on the x-axis, so wherever this red arrow is heading, that's where it's going to go. Same with the green arrow, same with the blue arrow. You can also just click and drag the arrows, so if you click them, they'll highlight yellow and you can move them in the direction that they're facing. But for here, we're just going to leave this here because it's not that important. Next, we have this little rifle right here. This also has most likely the same properties as the little player start thing. You can move it left, right, up, down, front, back, all that kind of good stuff. But we're also just going to leave this one here because these don't really matter right now. We're just trying to show you how to change colors, stuff like that. So we're actually going to go over to these little cubes right here. And if you click on this cube, same with the guns, same with the start, you can move it left, right, up, down, back, forward. But what you can also do with these blocks is change how they look and change what color they are. So in the right side of the detail screen, you'll see this little thing that says static mesh. From here, all you have to do is click this little caret right here, and it'll give you a bunch of preloaded types of looks that you can give it. You can change it to a wedge, you could change it to a tube, a pyramid, anything like that. But just for right now, we're just going to choose pyramid. And as you can see, since it's a little smaller than the cube, it's actually floating right now. But we can just move it down by clicking the blue arrow and moving it downwards and placing it just right on top of the cubes. Now, right now it's just white, it's really plain, nothing else, nothing special. But right under that is the materials tab. The materials tab has this thing called element. And if you click this little triangle right here to select the element, this is where all the colors come from. And there's all sorts of stuff. There's base material, there's bricks, there's bush, there's metal, all that kind of stuff. So let's choose the clay. Now it will come up with these dots and then it will eventually load. Depending on how fast your computer is, the rendering might be a little bit slower. It all just depends on what your computer is running, how it's running, and stuff like that. But now we have a little tiny brick cube that we can actually move anywhere we want. Going front, up, down. And I'm actually going to place it on the ground just so that it doesn't move anywhere. And also within here is something we can do is we can enable gravity. Now if we enable gravity, whenever we play our simulation, it will actually fall. It will have gravity to it. So if we just lift it up, it will fall. And we also have to click this simulate physics button to make sure that everything goes through. Now, we can actually test that by pressing this little green arrow right here that says play. If you press this, see how it falls right there. And you also start where your player start is, and you can walk, and this gun has an interact, so you can pick it up, and all that good stuff. So now this is also on the ground. Your body can move into it and move it around because it has gravity and physics enabled with it. It will spin, it will collide against walls, and yeah. If you want to leave this simulation thing, all you have to do is just press escape, and then you're out. Now, also what you can do is this cool thing where you can add sound. So we're just going to go over to this little cube right here. We're going to select it by left clicking, and we're going to change it. Let's change this one also to a pyramid. So now that we have the pyramid, we're going to click this arrow again on the element, and we can also search here. If you search here, I'm going to just search for something like gold. And so now it's going to change to a more gold color. I'm actually going to make this one a little bit bigger by using the scale, which is right up here. This will make it bigger this way, every single direction. You can also just input the things by clicking on it. If you left click, it will highlight it, delete it. Let's say we want all of them to be 5. Click 5, 5, 5. And now it's a big triangle. Now, you can also rotate it. If you use the red one, rotates it along the little red arrow. If you use the green one, rotates it on the green arrow. If you use the blue one, rotates it on the blue arrow. So, we're actually going to keep it like this, because that looks pretty cool. And what we can do now is, right up here, this is where all of your things are located. So here's the cube, and here's the mesh component that allows you to add the color and add the shape of it. What we're actually going to do is we're going to click this green add up here. And when we click this green add, it's going to ask you which type you want. And for this one, we're going to do audio. So now the audio is a part of it, and you can actually see it right here. It's actually a part of the triangle. So if I move the triangle in any direction, it will go with it. And with this audio is what we can do is if you click audio, scroll down until you attenuation. Now from attenuation, we're going to click this thing that says none right here. And we're going to click sound attenuation. Basically, this is creating a new asset that we're going to add to our folders, and it's going to be something that we can add to anything that we want. We're going to click sound attenuation. Once we click this file screen will come up, and it will show you where all of your folders are, where you can put it. I'm just going to use the one that it automatically chooses, which is the content folder, which is where everything is stored. And I'm just going to keep the name as new sound attenuation. You can change it to whatever you would like to. And then once you change the name, just click save. Now, as you can see, this little orange circle and this big orange circle appears. Basically, what these two circles are is this is what the sound will play in, and this is called the fall off range, where as you leave this circle, it takes this much of a range until the sound completely dissipates. So you can be over here, and you'll hear it slowly get quieter as you leave. Now, to actually input a sound, what we have to do is you have to scroll back up to where it says sound. And again, with the template that you installed with Unreal Engine 5.1, is it already comes with some sounds, which is great. And we're just going to use a simple sound like Light 02. Actually, let's use Light 01. So, click that, and now it's already selected in here. So now whenever we get inside of this little circle right here, the sound will play. And you can change the volume of it, make it louder, make it quieter. You can change it, make it higher, make it lower with the pitch. And just to show you, we're going to click play right again. And you can hear it to my right. And if we get closer, it gets louder, and if we walk away, it gets a little bit quieter, because we're still in the fall off range, even though we're not in that range right there. I'm going to press escape again, and we can actually change how big the fall off range is, or we can change how the radius is. If we scroll back down to the audio, and then scroll down to the sound attenuation, we can actually click the arrow again, and then click edit. If we click edit, it brings up this screen, and this screen has inner radius and fall off distance. So we're gonna actually make it a little bit smaller. So now instead of this big circle, it's super small over there, and we're gonna actually make the fall off distance a little bit smaller as well. So now this fall off distance is only in this area, and I will not hear it from over here when I leave this small little circle. We're actually gonna bring this radius up a little bit. There we go. Alright. And you don't have to click save or anything. All you have to do is just click the X in this top right of the screen, and it's gone. You don't have to worry about it. Now, if we go in to the simulation, I don't hear it right now because I'm not in the range or the fall off range. I can just walk, I can pick up the gun or whatever, and as I get closer, once I'm in the range, the sound starts playing. I'm closer, it gets louder, and once I leave this, there's still the fall off, but once I leave the fall off, it's completely gone. There's nothing else that I can be heard. We're gonna press escape again, and there's one more thing I would like to show you. The last thing I want to show you is this little feature up here that's called the add to the project, and all you do is you just click add. Now you can do whatever you want. You can go through Content Browser, which is a bunch of things that you already have installed with Unreal Engine. You can also go to Quixel Bridge, which usually comes installed with Unreal Engine, and that's a bunch of random templates, a bunch of plants, trees, rocks, chairs, anything really. But we're just going to be using shapes because it's super easy to do. You're going to click shapes. You're going to click cube, sphere, cylinder, cone, plane, whichever one you want. I'll just be doing sphere, and it will spawn it right here. And just like everything else we've been using, you can go up, down, any direction you want to. And this also automatically has all of these settings ready for you. You can change the scale. We can make it super long like that. And I'm also going to as well simulate physics and have gravity enabled. So now when I play, it's going to fall just like that one. And when I push this one, see how it moves? Yeah, super wonky. But yeah, now I'm going to press escape. And yeah, that's basically all there is to a simple tutorial on how to use Unreal Engine 5.1. How to edit things, how to make them bigger, change their color, add a little bit of sound to it, make it a little more interactive. And the last thing you want to do is to save your project. So you're going to go into this top left area, and you click File. You're going to press Save Current Level As, and it will ask you what you want the name to be. I'm just going to keep it as first person map. It's going to save. It'll save, and then it'll put you to this little screen where you'll be perfectly okay. And you can, if you wanted to, make something like new level, and you can create anything. You can go empty level, empty open world level, open world, or basic, whatever you would like to do. Also, you can open a level, which would allow you to open this map that you just opened. When you made it and saved it, you could just click save selected, and then boom, it opens what you just created and what you just edited. That's all there is to Unreal Engine 5.1. Very basic setup. Thank you for listening to CRT Tech Tips. Have a good day.